My name is Manoj Chugh, and I am what they call an industry veteran in the IT industry for more than 4 decades. Done a variety of roles, starting from humble infrastructure systems integration to running large global IT services firms. So again, it's my great pleasure to partner with Express Computers, and I do hope that the topics that I will speak to you on are going to be something which are heartwarming, relevant, and interesting for all of you. Last time I spoke about the role of technology and how important that is to help MSMEs and small and mid-sized businesses to succeed in the world of the future. Today, I'm going to delve into perhaps one of the ways in which one can aggressively go and embrace the digital transformation journey, which all of you will agree with me is super critical for business success. And in fact, as I speak to many MSMEs and SMBs today, they recognize that digital plays a very critical role in enabling more efficient, more productive, and effective operations. And this is in addition to driving customer engagement and also helping them new revenue by either going after newer segments or perhaps looking at radically new business models. But where does one begin this journey? And I think that is what I'm going to spend a few minutes on in this video. The journey begins by first of all establishing a robust physical IT infrastructure. Now, in the past, frankly, one had no options but to build this out and make sure that it was resilient and so on and so forth. And that meant that you needed to sign a big check. And it was time consuming, required lots of talent, lots of resources. And therefore, for MSMEs and small and mid-sized businesses, it was undoubtedly a very difficult proposition. A few brave souls attempted to do it, but then soon realized that it was very hard to keep up, as they say, with the Joneses. So, finally, I think we had a very good answer for everyone. And we know that today. And that was the advent of the cloud, where finally, what we had been dreaming about, what we had been talking about for many, many years, that IT would be available as a utility, almost like electricity and water, finally saw the light of the day. And I think this major step in terms of making cloud services available, infrastructure as a service, and so on and so forth available, where you pay based on what you eat or what you use in this case, was a very valuable proposition. And that really motivated, and I would say was a tipping point in helping SMBs and MSMEs to embrace the cloud. In fact, it is so pervasive today that in 2022, forecasters say that more than $500 billion was spent on public cloud services in the last year. I think as the world continued to become more and more digital, the spend on the public cloud obviously went up because you wanted to run newer applications, you wanted to make sure that you engage with your customers in a more intimate manner, you wanted to make sure you were efficient, you wanted to make sure your logistics were perfect, your back-end systems, front-end systems, all of them ran seamlessly. And since you did not have to now set up expensive IT infrastructure, cloud allowed many of us to embrace digital like never before. In fact, what we also saw was an interesting trend where many organizations, irrespective of size, realized that they needed specific applications which perhaps ran on different clouds or ran on services provided by different cloud providers. Now that again became very, very interesting. So for example, you had your messaging applications run on one cloud, you had your ERP on another, you had your CRM systems on a third. If you were a services company, you had those applications running on a fourth, and so on and so forth. So we soon saw the proliferation of services that SMBs and MSMEs were signing up to were actually using multiple clouds. And in fact, that became what you could say, the basic foundations on which SMBs and MSMEs started becoming very, very successful. So today, organizations have to actually, whether they like it or not, leverage multiple clouds to deliver on the services that their customers, their stakeholders, their vendors, their ecosystem partners are expecting from them. And this becomes very, very interesting. In fact, the reason why people have to depend on multiple clouds also is sometimes because of geographic availability. A specific SaaS application, software as a service application that you have chosen may be available in a certain geography on a specific cloud. It could also be because it's always good and best practice that for business continuity purposes, you don't put everything, all your eggs in one basket. So you kind of spread the loads across multiple clouds. The other thing is that you want to use every cloud for the value, the strength that they bring. So they call it the best of breed player approach. And last but not least of all, this human fear that I don't want to get locked in, into a single vendor, a single OEM, a single cloud also has played into this multi-cloud approach that organizations have taken. So cloud has undoubtedly become the digital backbone of modern day business. In fact, the speed at which people are innovating and leveraging the cloud is absolutely mind-boggling. Cloud computing will shift from technology style of computing to be the foundation of innovation going forward in the future. But with multiple clouds, I think each of our organizations and businesses have to realize that whether they like it or not, they have to learn to live with cloud silos. Almost reminds you of the smokestacks of the past. From what I have seen, cloud has today become a very key business innovation platform, started with digital native businesses, but very clearly today, it has become a matter of choice for the brick and mortar businesses as well. In fact, more than 60% of IT spend today is going to the cloud. And organizations are likely to increase their cloud spend by over 30%. So the approach of leveraging multi-cloud strategy makes perfect business sense. But we know that there are many challenges. First of all, the reality of life is that each cloud looks at life differently. The way they are designed, the way they are deployed, the way they operate, lack of standardization, its billing, operations, etc., differ from cloud to cloud. And essentially, many of these challenges need to get addressed. And if they are not addressed, it just makes the life of SMBs and MSMEs very difficult. The good news is that today we do have multi-cloud management platforms which help us to simplify our ability to manage workloads across multiple clouds. Another important factor we must remember is around cost management. Many CFOs are turning around and saying that with everyone in the organization running amok and unabated on the cloud, the costs are shooting through the roof. Cloudverse is a very innovative platform that I've come across, which actually helps to address some of the core issues. With platforms like Cloudverse as an example, you can straight away look at how cloud infrastructure can be made invisible as far as the end user is concerned and improve collaboration across multiple groups. Security is another big issue which can get addressed seamlessly. I spoke about cost efficiency, which today is becoming a very, very important point. Cost spend analysis, cost optimization recommendations, how do you manage to budgets, all become important. And again, we know that without proper oversight and tools, it can be very easy to overspend when you are deploying cloud-led services. In fact, Gartner has turned around and said that 32% of cloud spend goes to waste. Imagine that. And this results in, on an average, 20% of overspending. Therefore, these kind of platforms can really help us to manage our costs better as well as drive better visibility. I think a lot of organizations find it very hard today to forecast cloud spending as well, because they really don't know what the usage patterns are going to be going forward in the future. So without proper tools, one could land up into an uncontrolled expanse, which is totally unknown. And certainly organizations will find it very difficult, particularly SMBs and MSPs, to manage such situations. So therefore, I think it is important that we look at this as we start embracing digital, as we start looking at applications across multiple clouds, which whether we like it or not, we will willy-nilly inevitably land up using. In fact, in a recent Flexera State of the Cloud report, they turned around and it is said that cloud spend management is the top challenge. In fact, 80% of the respondents said more than security. The big issue they need to tackle now is cloud spend management. So in summary, an automated mechanism will help us very significantly in terms of taking a consolidated view of a full multi-cloud system, which forms the basis of success as we embark on the digital transformation journey. An exhaustive view that will consider the multi-cloud system to be like one single system rather than take a vendor by vendor approach, and at the same time ensuring that you don't displace the native capabilities, I think is very, very heartwarming. One last point on this, many people ask me, what about deployment complexity? We don't have the technical talent. How will we go about, deploying such multi-cloud management platforms? The good news is, it takes less than 30 minutes to onboard the customers, less than 10 minutes to discover cloud resources, and less than a day to start understanding where your spends are and for you to get cost optimization recommendations. So my message to you for today, go ahead, fearlessly choose best of breed applications that are born on the cloud across any environment that you think is the right one, any cloud provider that you think is appropriate. Reap the rewards of running a cost-efficient and productive digital transformation program. Wish you all the very best, and thank you for listening in.